Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to set up a research proposal template using Word. We'll be stepping through some of the tools and tricks in using Word. Again, it's not a comprehensive Word tutorial, but we'll be using some of the very basic tools that will make our lives a lot easier to set up research proposal templates. So this tutorial, we'll be using the Microsoft Office Word platform, and we'll be using that to compile a research proposal. Most of us know how Word works. We've been using it for years, for some of us from varsity, for the rest of us all the way from school. So we should have a very good idea of how Word works. But I'm just going to step through a few basics that I often use when setting up a Word document. This is by no means a complete tutorial of Word, but it will give us some basics and some insights on the different tools that's available in Word. So let's step through this short tutorial. You can see in front of me, I've got a Word document. This is a research proposal template. Now this is what the first three blocks or modules of this research report is about, is how to set up a proper research proposal. So we're not going to go through the content in that much detail. We step through all of this content in a lot of detail in the weeks that follow. So we're going to look at how to format and set up this research proposal. Please do bear in mind that this research proposal will be made available to you on the site, just in a link underneath this video that we're talking about now. So you can download it there and all of this information will be there. But like I said, we will step through all of these different components of this research proposal in the coming weeks and how to start with this research proposal. But let's start with this Word tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new clean Word document. So there you can see new blank document. Some of the first basics that I want you to notice are the styles, numbering, and then also hidden text. So let's just start with those very basics before we carry on. So what we can do is, what we usually do is, we say it's the first bullet point, point number 1, full stop, and then we start by saying, okay, this is heading 1. And this could be introduction, for instance. But if I want to format that to heading 1, then I usually go up there, I select my text, select the size I want to use, maybe do it bold or italic, and this all takes a long time because each time I get to a new heading I have to start from scratch. So that is where the styles come in very handy. However, setting up these styles can always be quite tedious. So if I open heading 1, I modify, I go in here and I try to set up this heading 1 like I want it to be. I want the color to be black, bold, Arial 12. Then I have to go into formatting and I have to set up the numbering, and it always seems to be quite tedious because now the numbering doesn't line up, and it's quite difficult. So that was a quick tutorial of how to do it through this panel, but how I like to do it is I usually start by just typing words. So that would be heading 1, heading 1.1, heading 1.1.1. So these are the different indents. So what I do is I color them the way that I want. Let's perhaps start with the numbering. So instead of accessing that numbering tab, I create a new multi-level list. So there's a couple of default lists there. I don't like this deeper indent that they have in this list, so I'm going to set up a new multi-level list. So there, that's the first indent level. I want it to be 1, but I want to have a full stop there instead of a bracket. The second indent, I want it to be numbers as well. I want it to be a full stop as well, and I don't want it to be indented, so I'm just going to align it there. And then the third level, I don't want it to be a number, the full stop at the end. I don't want it to be indented there. And then I can just say, okay, I want to include the number from the previous level, and I'm going to do that with level 2 as well. Include the number from that level. Full stop. So there it should then show all of the information that I want there. So there's my numbering level, so I can carry on through all the numbering levels, but usually we limit it to only 3 indent levels so that we don't lose track of where in the body we are. Okay, so there's my new numbering level. So this one I will just set to a different indent level. It's indent level 2, and that would typically be then indent level 3. So there's my 3 indent levels, and now I can go and change the formatting. So heading 1, I'd like it to be size 14, and I want it to be bold. Level 2, I also want it to be 14, also bold. Heading 3, I want it to be 12 and bold. And there I have my different headings. I can now go to my line spacing, and TUT requests that you use 2-point line spacing, and then in the paragraph tab I can then just reduce that to 0. I prefer to reduce the spacing after paragraphs to 0, and I'll show you why I do that just now. So all 3 of these should then be at 0. Let us just make sure that's at 0. All of that is at 0. So what I then do is I highlight that section, and I have my heading 1 tab there. I right click on that tab and I say update heading 1 to match selection. So if I do that, you can see it updates there. The same with the second level, only heading 2, update to match selection, and then the same thing there with level 3. And then I can enter some random text body in there, and then I can obviously format it in a similar way. I don't want any paragraph spacing. I want my line spacing to be 2. I want it to be Arial, and I want it to be size 12. So what I can then do is I can highlight that, and then I can just say update normal to match selection. So what I have now here in my styles is my first indent level there is under heading 1, second indent level there is heading 2, third indent level is heading 3, and then my normal text, which is the body of text, is then under normal. So if I, for instance, add another heading here, I can simply just go and I can click on level 1, and it would automatically follow the numbering from my previous indent level, or I can change it to heading 2 and it would follow on that indent level, or I can change it to level 3 and it would follow on that indent level. Okay, so once we've set up our styles, we can continue with building the document. So I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to paste some text that I've copied from a different document. These are the headings of the research proposal, but please don't try to memorize it or pause this video to type it down. This is all in the template that's provided below this video. What I'm going to do now is just going to show you how to indent this and how to insert a table of contents then. So introduction is heading 1, methodology is indent level 1, and then research activities is indent level 1, conclusion is indent level 1, and bibliography or references is then indent level 1. All of these will then be indent level 2. So you can see how easy it is to then build a document. So there you can see all the different levels. I can then go in there and I can add some body of text randomly in there between all of these different indent levels. Alright. I just want to zoom in so we all can see. So I'm just going to insert a page break. So what did I just do there? I inserted a page break. So how that works, the first thing I want to show you is how to show hidden text, show or hide. So if I switch that little reversed P there, it shows me all of the formatting. You can see all of the enters there. You can see the spaces and you can see all of that formatting. You can obviously switch it off again just to make it easier to read, but if you want to switch it on again there. So how do I make sure that, say, that always shows on the next page instead of doing this, which is enter, 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 and then remove all the numbering? It can be very messy. So once I type something there, hello, and type something there, hello, then all of the formatting falls away and I lose all of this effort that I've done with my style. So what I can do is I can insert, design, layout. I can insert a break there. So there's a page break, column, text wrapping, and there's some section break. So if I insert a page break, you can see there in the hidden text it says page break. So no matter what comes after it, this heading will always be on the next page. So now I can go before the page break and I can enter and I can add some text there. The text can be a few paragraphs and it doesn't matter how I format that, this will always then be on the next page. So that's a very, very handy tool. What we'd like to insert now is a table of contents. So we go to references, table of contents. There's a couple of standard formatting. I usually don't use that. I usually set up a custom table of contents. So the amount of levels that I'd like to show, these are indent levels, so that would be 1, 1.1, 1.1.1, so that's level 3. I usually only want 2 because otherwise this table of contents gets to be very, very long. A tab leader is fine, and then I can go in there and modify it even a little bit more, but that's not necessary. Doing it in that way would then allow me to set up this table of contents. So there, as you can see, my whole table of contents is entered there. Now obviously if I go back and I switch off all of this hidden text, all of those little tabs and enters, all of those disappear and it's very easy to read. But when I switch that on again, that allows me to see exactly where my page break is. For instance, something like this happens and I don't have that hidden text on, I'd have my table of contents here and I would have no idea why my document skips this whole page and puts my first heading down there. But if I switch this on, I can see I've got a few too many enters there, so let's just delete those enters. My page break is there and then my introduction starts. So it's a lot easier to format it while you're in this mode. Obviously when you want to read it, you can just switch it off, and when you want to format it, you can just switch it back on there and you can see all the tabs and all of the enters and everything is there for you to use. The next thing I want to show you that I use quite often is called section breaks. Now this table of contents shows the page numbers, but what if I have some other items before the introduction, like an abstract or this table of contents or a list of figures or a list of symbols, and I want it, for instance, to be Roman numerals like I, IV and so on, then this numbering automatically links it to these pages. So that's where I use section breaks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a cover page. I'm going to edit this cover page later on. Now we're using document parts, but we're focusing on section breaks now. So let's just say here, document cover page. So after the document cover page, I want the cover page to be a different section. I'll show you what a section head does just now. So we go to layout, breaks, section breaks. We've already got a page break in there which automatically enters it to the next page. So we're not going to add a section break that goes automatically to the next page. We're going to add one that is continuous. So you can see there's my section break in there. After my table of contents, I also want to add a section break. Alright, so now I've got a section break there on my cover page, and I've got a section break there on my table of contents. So I'm just going to enter it here, enter a page break, and here I'm going to, for instance, add a list of tables and a list of figures, for instance. And then what is handy about these section breaks is when I go in, and you can either double click here on the page footer, which I usually do. So I go there, I double click, and there is my page footer, and it automatically opens this new tab, design of headers and footers. So there I can add a page number at the bottom of the page, or on the right hand side of the page I add a page number there. So there's my page numbers, and now you can see where these page numbers reference back to my table of contents, right? So you can see there's my table of contents, that's on page 2. So what I can do is I can double click on that, and I can say format page numbers. So there I can say format page numbers, and I can make it Roman numerals. So now I start at 1, not continuous from previous section, and there my cover page would have a Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2. There again at that section I just want to format my page number. It mustn't continue from the next section, it must start at I. And then here in my text body I also want to format that. That's normal numbers, but it must start at 1 again. So now if I go back to my body, you see that my cover page, my table of contents, there's a Roman numeral. My list of tables and list of figures is a Roman numeral, but when I get to my body of text, you can see it starts there. It starts at a 2. Let's just fix that. Page number, format page numbers just start at 0. So my Roman numerals stop there, and my body of text then starts at 1. So that's an easy way to change your page numbers. So if I go up here and I change my list of figures to heading 1, my list of tables heading 1, I'm just gonna remove those numbers for now. If I edit it there, it doesn't change the rest of my heading styles, so that's also quite handy. So then I can just go to this table of contents, I can right click on it, I can say update field. I don't want to update page numbers only, I want to update the entire table, and then you'll see there it's my list of tables, my list of figures is there in Roman numerals, and my body of text there is in normal numbering. So section breaks is a very handy tool to use. So what I'm going to do is, usually your cover page doesn't have a number, so I'm just going to remove that. and this one we're just going to say that it shouldn't link to the previous section, and we're going to add the page number again there. Roman numerals, it starts at I, but remember the cover page doesn't have a number, so it should start at 0. So there's no number now, and there should be a Roman numeral. So let's just fix that and make sure that it's there. Footer, page number, bottom of the page, there, and my Roman numerals are showing there. So my numbering works out. Like I said in the previous video, it's usually best to do. So the best way is to open up your Word document and then try all of these different tools that you can use. What section breaks are also handy for is, say, in my body of text, I'm just going to put my problem statement on its own page, and then my research objective on its own page as well. Say here in the body, I have an image, but it's a large image. It doesn't fit on a portrait layout. So what I can do is I can add a section break there. And I can add a section break there. And then this image, I can go and I can say orientation. Okay, I want a longer menu, so we can go in one of the other menus. So if you go into margins, it shows the orientation there as well. So we apply this to this section only instead of the whole document, or from this point forward. We only select this section, we make it landscape, and then we click OK. Just waiting for my computer to respond. So you can see there the document is portrait. This section between these two section breaks, you can see there's a section break, there's a section break here, it's landscape, and then after this section it carries on again here with the rest of my body, which is portrait still. So that is also handy use of a section break. So I'm just going to undo what I did just now so that we don't break the formatting of our templates. Please do remember that this template will be provided to you, so there's no need to worry too much about it now. This template is provided. I just want to give you some tips and pointers on how to use these different tools that are available in Word. The last thing that I'd like to show you is document parts. Now this is handy when you want to cross-reference different items throughout the document. So what we're going to do is you're going to go to the Insert tab, and we're going to go to Quick Parts. Down in Quick Parts, we're going to say Document Property, and there's all the different properties. So for instance, what I can do is, let's say, title of the document. This is just so that we can reference what is going on. So the title, let's make it centered, bold, size 16, and whatever my document title is, research proposal, for instance, I can highlight that. I can go to Insert, Quick Parts, Document Property, and I can say that is the title of my document. Okay, it sadly removed it, so let's just type it again, research proposal, and that is my title. So you can see there it highlights it in gray. But what I can do with that is I can now go to the rest of my document. For instance, in my body of text, I can go to the header. Remember, double click at the top, and there I can say Insert, Quick Parts, Document Property. I can add the title there, and it automatically pulls the title there. So you can see there in my header there's research proposal. So if I go back to the top and I change my research proposal, changed a research proposal, and I just save it, it automatically, in my header, it automatically changes that part throughout the entire document. So another example would be, for instance, if I want to add an author, J.A. Swanepoel, so I can just cut that, insert quick parts, document property author, there's the author, Jan Swanepoel. My Word knows who I am, as you can see there, so it automatically filled the author in there. And then if I want to go to my header in my body of text, I can open my page header, I can double click where I want to add the author, and then I can go to insert, quick parts, document property, author. So there's the author. So if I go to my body of text, all my headers has my document title and the author labeled there. What I can also do, for instance, just a third example, I can add the date, for example, insert quick parts, document property, published date. I can add the date there. It is now the 4th of the 8th month, 2020. All right. Okay, it automatically formats the date. So what I now can do is I can now go to, for instance, my footer, and I can double click where I want to edit, and I can say insert, quick parts, document property, published dates, and there's the published date in the footer. So that is also a very neat tool to use. So you can format all the different parts. What you can also do is in the text you can go and you can say the author of this document, comma, who's the author, insert quick parts, document property, author, has spent some time editing this document. So if you change the author, it automatically changes it in the text as well. Another example, on the publication of this document, insert quick parts, document property, published date, automatically adds the date there. This document had been reviewed 4 times. So there you can see these document parts. When I change the publication date on the cover page, it automatically changes the publication date in the text. So that is also a very handy tool. So to conclude, I'd just like to mention that you will be given this document that you see in front of you, which is the template for your research proposal. You can see that it has an executive summary section. The cover page is already formatted according to TUT guidelines. The content is already set up. All of these link up automatically to your text. And there in the body there is some red text, which is hidden text. Remember to switch that on in order to see this. It gives you some guidelines on how to do these different sections, but we will be spending roughly, give or take, a week per these sections to just step through and talk through how to set up every one of these sections. So that concludes this video. Thank you for listening and good luck.